this morning. So it's a call to order, and I'll lead us in our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Lord, we come before you today to ask your blessing upon us, to help us, to be with us, to comfort us, to guide us in the correct ways that we need to do the business of this county, Lord. We pray for those who protect and serve us in our county, our state, and our nation, Lord. We pray that you keep your hand upon them. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could get a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Daryl Jeter, District 1.
Here.
Michelle Lover, District 2.
Here.
Eddie Skeen, District 3.
Here.
Michael Brickey, District 4.
Here.
Danny Castile, District 5.
Here.
Chris Manus, District 6.
Here.
Stephanie Addington, at large.
Here.
You have everybody here?
All right, moving on to agenda. Has everyone had a chance to look over the agenda? Are there any changes, additions, deletions, anything of that nature?
I'll make a motion to amend it.
Okay.
For closed session
Okay.
to include one personnel county attorney.
Okay. All right, we'll put that at B on the closed session. Are there any other amendments? So I just don't know them right now. Sorry. With that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands with the amendment?
So moved.
Mr. Jeter makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Michelle seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we move on to citizens' expression. Mr. Dingus, if you could bring me the clipboard up here. I forgot to grab that myself. Citizens' expression period is a point in the meeting when anyone who wishes to address the board may do so. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name, where you're from in the county, and or what organization you represent. The board may or may not respond to anything you say, but we will take everything you say into account when making future decisions. Please keep your comments concise and businesslike. We have a timer that usually runs on these TVs, so if you can keep within that time window, we really appreciate it. If no one has signed up to speak, we have no particular order. We ask that you take turns and speak your business. Any action will be considered after we close citizens' expression. All right. First person we have is Mr. Danny Kessner, East Carter's Valley.
Morning. I'm Danny Kessner from East Carter's Valley. 4 members of this board just voted for higher taxes on our fixed income and disabled citizens of this county. And I believe you also got money from the rainy day fund or your cost savings, I guess, to balance the budget. I asked our county administrator, do you review every department budget request?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, all right. You funded a county golf course with our money, $329,000. That loses money every year. You funded trucks so that animal and litter wardens can drive them home. For what? You funded over 410 students to go to our schools. They pay no tuition. We paid for this twice with our county taxes and our state taxes. You funded the EDA $359,000. For what? We, the taxpayers, pay the interest on their loans. And the way I've seen it, over $1 million of interest is going towards Riverside property. Put it up for sale or put it up for auction. And oh, where is the sales contract, or do they even have one? 16 years is enough. Who controls this county, them or this board? In 1980, our population was over 25,000. In 2000, we had 23,400. In 2025, it said we had 21,100. More spending is not getting us more population. Your funding increase is not working. We need a new county leaders. If you funded the volunteer fire departments like you do this wasted budget, their trucks would not be over 15 years old or better. So I've got 5 questions for our county administrator and this board. Why do we fund a money-losing golf course? And I will give you a copy of all these questions because I know you're not going to write them down. Why do we fund the EDA after the Riverside and Crooked Road Tech Center failures? Why do we fund over the 400 students go to our schools? Why do we fund employee trucks to drive home? Why not lease or sell the golf course and save the county $329,000? This county needs new leaders and new board members. Mr. Wilson, I ask you, every department request is what? Maintenance repair, office equipment, $5,500. Concession supplies, $11,500. Merchandise for sale, $22,000, and that's all for the golf course. Your office got $3,000 this year in postage. That's $250 a month. And what is $7,000 of drinking water for the landfill? What is $12,600 for toilet services for the solid waste management department? Maybe this budget needs to go there. For 3 of you that voted against the higher tax increase and robbing our rainy day fund, thank you. This board needs to stop letting certain departments run this county. I believe I hear a wagon train of moving trucks headed out of Scott County. And Mr. Gary Baker, sorry for your loss, buddy. Sorry for your loss. That's all I have, thank you. And I'm gonna pass around the questions, if you will, Mr. Darrell. Give everybody a copy of that, and if y'all can answer that, I would appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kessler. Next, I believe is Mr. Gary Baker.
I ain't got much today, Chris. Gary Baker, Booth Creek. I guess, thank you, Dan. Rachel passed away early Monday morning, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone here on the board and in the audience that prayed for Rachel. Been very rough. This makes 2 young'uns. I've lost Rachel. Wasn't my young'un, but she might as well be. But anyway, I want to thank Sally personally for her kindness and the prayers. Appreciate that. I'd like to hear some kind of feedback on this CDC or DEQ on these young'uns. I mean, they're not only young'uns in Scott County, but there's a heck of a lot of adults that's getting cancer. Something's going on here, and somebody needs to step up to the plate and find out what's going on. And, you know, I think we've got a new lady over the CDC that said she was going to straighten the CDC out. Her name's Erica Schwartz. She's a big, tall, black lady, and did a very good job addressing the Senate the other day. And you all with a little bit of cloud about you, it might be a good idea if you had somebody on this board, either the county administrator or Sally, to write Miss Dr. Schwartz, Erica Schwartz is her name, and see if she could jerk a knot in somebody's butt. I mean, there ain't no sense of this. I mean, waiting 2 years before something kicks in, she said she was gonna redo everything, and I would recommend somebody writing that lady a letter and telling her our situation here in Scott County and try to get something done about all this. There ain't no sense of it. Anyway, I'm done fussing. As far as VDOT's done a wonderful job on Boozy Creek about cleaning out the tiles and cleaning up the mess we had after that last flood. And they cut off all the side ditches and everything, and it looks good. And you can pass it on, we appreciate it. And the only other thing I've got, which I'm about out of time, is reassessment. I don't know what you're all waiting on about getting somebody to put in bids, but I talked to a good friend of mine the other day, and lives right here. He does Lee County's reassessment. And Mr. Rex McCarty told me that he would put in a bid one more time. If you all don't give this to a resident of Scott County this time, then you're going to be in a heap of trouble. Everybody in this county is fussing about somebody from out of state getting this reassessment. And if he puts it in a bid, for God's sakes, give it to him so that he will get this reassessment in the county straightened out. That's all I've got. Thank you all. Thank you for your prayers and everything. And I think Rachel's, Kathy and her mom went this morning to set up the arrangements, but I think it's going to be Saturday, but it's going to be at Acre Funeral Home because they wanted it acred on account of will be done in a minute. On account of her friends from John Battle, knowing where Acre was and not the funeral homes in Scott County.
Mr. Baker, I was going to ask you, we're going to be discussing a little later software package between the clerk's office and the commissioner's office regarding deeds. Are you going to be able to stay a little bit? Maybe we might have some questions for you in regards to that.
Yeah, I'll try to. If it ain't way up in the day.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Fred.
Ms. Dodds.
Morning, Peggy Tice from Snowflake Road, and I want to thank you all for all your prayers during my mom's illness and her passing. And I'm here on account of all the dirt roads in Scott County. And funding is the biggest problem. And my question is, who do we turn to try to get us more funding? And Snowflake Road has several places now after the rain that needs maintenance. All the roads I know are in bad shape due to this last rain that we've had. Some of the road is really bad, but some of it's good. VDOT's done, we are getting some maintenance on Snowflake Road, and we really do appreciate that. And VDOT has a lot of dirt roads in Scott County to take care of, and that means maintenance, and maintenance costs us money. And if we could get more funding and get more roads paved, that would cut down on the maintenance cost. And then the Riverside place is always a thorn in the taxpayer's side. And Snowflake Road, phase 1 is on the 6-year plan, which the 6-year plan, and I hope when it comes up to be the phase 1 to be paved, I hope there will be funding. And then we need, y'all's help to get phase 2 and phase 3 Snowflake Road on the 6-year plan, because I don't think it's going anywhere. And I want to thank you all and have a good day.
Bob Tyson.
I'm Bob Tice from Snowflake Road in support of Peggy that spent so much time down here trying to do something to get Snowflake Road paved. But I got the first thing I want to do is ask a question. How many of you guys had to travel a dirt road to get here this morning? How many of you guys had to travel a dirt road to get here this morning? That's part of the problem. I'll guarantee you if Mr. Kilgore had to travel a dirt road to go where he's going, it wouldn't stay dirt very long. He'd get it paved. But anyhow, it's kind of the theory, we're testing the theory that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, not that y'all can do a whole lot, but you got more influence than we've got, maybe talking to somebody in VDOT. But I'm just going to make 3 quick points. I called the state road department here a little while back, had to leave a message. You can call them all day long and nobody answered. But I left a message. And I was surprised that there's a guy named Gary or Jerry Mullins from VDOT called the house. And the reason that I was calling the state was, what's the chances of reclassifying a secondary road to a primary road, qualifying it for state funding? And this guy Mullins called and basically said there ain't no chance. You just forget about that. And then the second point I want to make is only 3 miles left of Snowflake Road to be paved, which would give access to a paved road all the way to Dungannon from the Snowflake area, but mainly from people that live in Big Moccasin. There's a lot of people live around Big Moccasin. And right now, if you want to travel a paved road and you live in Snowflake or Big Moccasin area, to go on a paved road to Dungannon for a doctor's office or whatever, you got to go to Nicholsville and pick up Twin Springs Road, or you got to go down here to the Fort Blackmore Road and go through Midway and all the way around that way. But we're right in the middle, and if this just these 3 miles were paved, then people in our area, including Big Moccasin, could go a paved road all the way to Dungannon or wherever else they wanted to go. And that's one point I'm trying to make to VDOT. And then the third thing, and the last, this 6-year plan, as y'all well know, to me, excuse the expression, but it just sucks. If I get a half a mile every 6 years of paved, get approved every 6 years and get a half a mile, I'll be 120 years old before I get 3 miles paved, before we get 3 miles paved. So that's why the 6-year plan is just, it ain't gonna do it. And the biggest problem I got noted here, the biggest problem is funding. You know, who do you contact to give secondary road more funding? I don't know. I don't know. We haven't ever found out much about that. But there needs to be more state funds, or the ability, and I brought this up before, the ability to use primary road money, if it's not really needed, to do secondary road paving. In other words, how many times have they tore roads up around here, primary roads, tore them up for half a mile or a mile or whatever, you know, especially Wadlow Gap, going into Kingsport. I don't know, I know it's been tore up about 3 times, and I think, wasn't nothing wrong with it to start with. And now they're tearing it up and repaving, repaving. That road going to Midway, they tore up a half a mile of it. What's wrong with it, you know? Spending money to repave a primary road that don't even need no maintenance. So why can't we take some primary road money and use it on secondary roads? But VDOT says, you can't do that, can't do that. Well, what do you mean you can't do that? Somebody needs to change the regulations that's preventing that. And if VDOT says, well, we got $25 million to spend on roads, and we really don't need to make but $15,000 improvement to make the primary roads in good shape, let's use $10 million of that to do some secondary road paving. But that just goes in one ear and out the other. Thank you for hearing the greasy wheel, or the squeaky wheel. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's everyone that's signed up. Is there anyone else that wishes to come up for public comment? John, you coming? I figured he was coming. Trying to give you the nod.
Well, I think the Lord got me up that morning, you know, and seemed like I have to come up here, and I don't get over my shirt, and that and that, okay? Y'all, we'll point y'all, try to help things, okay? Who we gotta go to the head of the plane somewhere, maybe go to Trump, talk to him, or this and that, you know? It's so sad, you know. That's what we got y'all, okay? Help things, help the neighbor, okay? And just like Birdtown over there. It's Walkman went over there a month, big old boulder, and I mean a big old boulder. All they have to do is just push him over the hill, and the same matter with him, okay? Along that other side of the road, and everything else. Book up big old boulders and bigger than a truck. They shot them over there a long time ago, you know. And we just can't seem like getting nothing done. But we can pay tax and do this and do that. And just like the cool here, all them cool young, I know they need tax and stuff, keep them youngers going, but when we got young enough, I can't even ride the bus and nothing else, up and bumping and everything else. I've been at it 2 or 3 years here. And seem like y'all ain't done nothing. What's the matter here, boy? Do you want your young'un to come out a mile and a half of walking, bar and everything else, and do this and do that? You know, I love my neighbor. And I do anything to try to help. That's what we'll point y'all for. Try to help things, okay? Not just say you're gonna be pretty, okay? I can't be pretty, you know why? I wasn't born pretty. That's just what I am. But just like Birdtown, it needs paving all the way through there, okay? That's got a tractor over there, tractor trailers come through there and everything else. And we can't even get nothing done. Bumping so far out there, they're paved here. And then can't even run a bus on a paved road. And on up in there, bumping, it needs fixing before it all come out. It seems like we just have to beat the head in the wall every way we turn. But y'all want to pass tax and do this and do that, and get the money in, and just like gas. Gas just keep jacking, and everything else, jack, quick. What we doing? Or we do anything at all, help anything, I just help that right here. I don't need no money, you know why? I come here for nothing, I'm gonna wait for nothing. You know God was mercy on everybody. And just like the flood, tough and coming, you know, we've been having a whole lot of bad weather too. But people can't even see nothing. You know why? They don't want to see. They don't want to help your neighbor. How many of y'all young have to check the bus and go mom half out? Would you want that? Been on 2 years, and the bus used to go in 60 years ago, and they can't go today. Y'all ain't got no driving, I can drive some. You want me to get up in the morning and drive out there and drive back in the evening? Just have that bus driving out? What's the matter, you old? If they can't drive up on a paved road, they don't need to on that wheel, okay? And hit that thing. It needs 50. And what about them young coming out there? They're driving out there and go over the hill. What we gonna do? It needs 50. It's that thing. Let's fix the highway, okay? That's what we'll pay taxes for. And every time we'll turn around, they won't jack him up. And pass this little wall, pass that little wall. That's okay. Don't get patting everybody on the back. Let's try to help something, okay? And the road's rolled up and everything else, you can't see, and that ain't been mowed or nothing. Where my tax money going, Bo? Can you tell me something? Give me some good answer, okay? I'm just telling the truth here. You know, sometimes the truth hurts, son. It cuts like a free-edged sword. It does me sometimes. Yeah, I'll give them sometimes. You don't see no wind on this horn, do you? I feel every day, the best I can do. But I will live with that. Try to live with that, okay? And why? It don't cost a thing to love somebody. Don't cost a thing to help someone. Or give somebody a kind word. I ain't trying to give y'all bad word. I just ask, what can I do here, you know? Help people. Don't be a second here and just look over one of the gates and try to be good. I can't be good, okay? You might, but I can't. I wasn't born that way, okay? You know, God's getting better and better every day. And you know, people just don't realize how great He is. He died on that cross. Give every bit of it, brother. Every bit of it. For who? For all of it. I didn't say me, all. What's the matter here, boy? We can't even say nothing, you know what I mean? All we want is just what we can get, that big green dollar. Don't say that all the time, young. If my neighbor's down, I need to help it. I need to get trucking and get down there and help him a little bit. Not just taking everything what he got. All y'all gonna take all my money with you? Putting a suit on me, I'd be from Oz, okay? I put a suit on one time. They didn't even know who I was. See, walked up about that thick on there, about an inch thick. What's the matter here, young? We'll jack him, tax him up, and jump that gas up, and make everything else go up. Don't want even nobody will talk. You can't buy nothing. What's the matter, Sissy? Huh? You looking awful good today, Sissy.
I think
Thank you. I mean, I guess I tore up a whole lot of stuff, but you know what? I hope I take the Lord with me in that third term. Y'all try that one time. Just ask the Lord to help you sometime. You know what? I've been broke off the station there. Back 7 times broke, truck up, and that night, the tree fell on me, 2012. But you know what? God helped me out with that, okay? Not just one though. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, John. John, I went ahead and put in a ticket with VDOT for that rock. I had the road, I just crossed through there.
Well, what about paved road?
When the 6-year plan comes up, I'll bring up.
What about bumping up there? Just sinking down a little bit. It needs fixing too, okay? Look, help the neighbor out a little bit, okay? It ain't all about Johnny, okay? Me.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you for what you do. If y'all know Johnny, he's a big pillar in the community down there who does a lot for us. So we appreciate you, Johnny. Anyone else for public comment?
Good morning, guys. He's kind of sparked me on wanting to comment on some of the road issues, and I have another issue I want to talk about. I'm Bruce Cross. I am a business owner in the Scott County area, and I'm also the fire chief of Weber City. And what Johnny's talked about, Buncombe Road and all this, I own a propane gas company in this county. And Buncombe Road, very familiar with it, the road is horrible. Trying to drive a hazmat vehicle on some of these roads in Scott County is tough. You know, in the winter months, my trucks come back in nasty. They're eat up with mud, salt, everything else. We try to keep our trucks clean. You know, it's a $300,000 truck. It would be nice if we could have better roads in this county. Some of these roads are very dangerous in the winter months, especially with a hazmat truck. So keep that in mind on all these roads, because I service a lot of people in this area, and I'm on all of the, trust me, I'm on every one of these roads. I'm going to High Knob today to put propane in the tower for dispatch, 911 tower. Well, sometimes we'll go up through Devil's Fork. That road's horrible, but you know, we got to get up there to get those tanks taken care of. Now, on the other side, as far as Weber City Fire, you know, getting these fire trucks in some of these places is tough also. But that's enough said about that. Now, Weber City this weekend is hosting, and I want to get with the Times News guy, a benefit for the Andrew Williams. We are going to host Saturday an event for them because the young kid is coming back from cancer treatment, and they're going to do a car show, and we're going to bring out the bouncy houses, the phone machine. We are going to host that for this family. So everyone is welcome to come and join. There will be food and stuff available there. She is providing everything. We're going to just provide the facility and shelter and the bouncy houses and stuff. But I welcome everyone for the cancer victim coming back home. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, with that, we'll close public comment, or sorry, citizen expression. And we'll move on to unfinished business, Cove Creek.
Excuse me,
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to cover some of the questions that have been asked?
Sure.
Mr. Wilson, some of the questions were directed to you. Would you like to comment?
I'll go through here, you know, I think Mr. Kessner's questions real quick. First one, why do we fund the golf course? Well, and I'll take that, I guess, with the fifth question too, as far as leasing or selling the golf course. I think there's a lot, I don't know all the full background on the golf course. Ms. Kegley may know a little bit more. As far as, you know, selling it, I think that's off limits, just the way that the county obtained the park.
I sent Chris that.
But, and while they're bringing that up, as far as, you know, yeah, it looks like a big number on paper and it is, as far as what the total budget is for the golf course. But you do have to take into account that it does bring in income. Yes, it doesn't make money. We still lose money on the golf course. However, has been increasing year after year after year, and the final number was right around $150,000 that it brought in this past year for the golf course. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bart, I think that was right around what Derek had said, that for cash anyway. But so, you know, it's a lot of what I think the county and any local government is in the business of providing services. I mean, there's a lot of things that we provide that makes no money. I mean, there's, you know, our solid waste, for example. I mean, that's a everyday necessity everybody uses. That's a service that we provide to the community without bringing in any income. I mean, there's you know, other parks that people enjoy that we can provide. You know, we have a great park up in Nicholsville. We have, of course, the golf course and park facility here in Gate City. We have tennis courts and Duffield that the school utilizes, and other people. I mean, there's services that the county can provide that we don't necessarily, you know, make money off of. It's a service to the community, and you know, so that's a lot of the golf course. You know, it's.
Can I add something to that, please?
Yes.
There was a county up in the middle of Virginia that was having the same problems with budget issues as what you folks have had. They discussed, they got the golf course basically the same way that y'all got the golf course, okay? They were losing quite a bit of money. So they either closed it down because of losing money, or lease it to somebody as an individual. They could lease it and come out ahead and save at least $500,000 that county is going to save. Because they can't keep losing money for the taxpayers that don't go play. You know, they're paying for something they don't have use. So, you know, that's the opposite. Instead of us losing money every year, you know, lease it out, sell it, whatever. I've got a copy of the deed, and it says, I believe, Sally can correct me, that it can either be closed or sold. I believe, I may be wrong.
I'm not prepared to address it today. I can look into it and let you know.
So then, you know, EDA, we've talked about, you know, I think was Mr. Kilgore, I think here last month, and gave a report and kind of went through a lot of the grant dollars that the EDA's been able to bring in, and then also, of course, the business expansions over the years, bringing in tax dollars. You know, the EDA is a valuable resource for the county. I 100% agree. I'm one of those that I hate sitting around and waiting, you know, for things to happen. I'd like to be able just to snap my finger and see everything kind of go in. I think we all would, but
Riverside for 16 years.
It's been a long time. I do know, you know, that there's positive things going on there right now. It's hard for a lot of folks to kind of see it just sitting there. You know, there's no dirt moving. There's, you know, that gets to be frustrating for a lot of people. But there is movement there, and I think, you know, I think in the very near future we'll start seeing dirt move, and we'll start seeing some fruits come out of that property. But I know it's a broken record just to say bear with us, but that's basically, you know, that's what we've got to offer right now, but it's gonna happen. Let's see, you know, Mr. Smith, school superintendent, came and spoke about the Tennessee kids. I don't know if that was last month or the month before. You know, that's ultimately a school board issue on whether, you know, they're gonna wanna charge tuition for for those students or not. Right now, they don't, but, you know, the school's been a close partner with us. You know, I know it is a big amount that we have to provide. A lot of that's driven by our just requirement from the state. There's a local match requirement from the, you know, the state sends money down and then we have to match it. There's a lot, the majority of that number, you know, this board doesn't necessarily have anything to say about. And that does get frustrating. You know, I get frustrated sometimes by saying, you know, I'm all for the school, all for whatever we can do for the kids. I mean, that's our future. You know, the state wants to send more money down, that's great, but the local requirement is starting to really eat away, especially down here in Southwest Virginia on these counties that just can't afford that match. So that's a fight, I think, in Richmond. On that end, touching on employee trucks, I think talking about litter and animal, it's a logistics thing. You know, I don't necessarily like seeing county vehicles go way outside the area to home either, but this isn't way outside the area. It's a you know, they're getting called in from home all the time. You know, you've got life-saving crew or somebody going into a house and you've got a bunch of dogs loose on a Saturday afternoon, they're calling them in. And just logistically, they can suit up, be in their vehicle and go straight to that scene and be there way quicker than you know, they're gonna have to get in their personal vehicle, go to the animal shelter, then put on their uniform, then get in their truck and then go, a lot of times backtracking, coming into back to Weber City towards the state line to run that call. And you know, a lot of times time is a necessity, so yeah, go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, basically you're saying on those trucks, they're given so they drive home like for a type of emergency or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're used for work, yeah,
Okay.
work
All right.
purpose.
What's the difference in that and these volunteer firefighters? They're at home when they get a call, what do? They get in their personal truck, they drive to the fire station to get a truck. So what's the difference in that and all these guys? They don't get paid. They don't get paid a dime. They volunteer for our county. Why do they get to drive the truck home? And how many calls do they have after hours that they can really call? How much money is this wasting our county?
Well, I think a lot of that's apples and oranges. I get it. I mean, I serve on volunteer fire department,
Okay.
but to have every fireman have a fire truck at home just isn't realistic.
I know that.
And they do run a high number of calls while they're off duty. They're getting called in quite often. And you know, the extra, I really don't know that there would be extra miles or wear and tear put on the vehicle driving it home versus leaving it in the county and then having to, you know, backtrack or go to their calls or whatever. It's just, it would be very minimal if there is.
So what's true emergencies?
Yes.
Josh, can I add something?
Yeah. Sorry
I
about.
know Sullivan County, used to let all their lodge drive the trucks home at B-Dot on account of emergency, you know. Well, they cut it all out. And I know, the dog catcher, he drives 10 miles one way, but now the other boy, somebody said he lived in Piney Flats, Piney Flats, Tennessee. That's a heck of a lot more than 10 miles.
He'd be in the county in 6 minutes.
I don't care where he's 6 minutes, where does he live? How many miles is it?
6 minutes, Gary.
Well,
Yeah.
I
I
don't-
mean,
I don't judge
if he
him.
lived in Flatwoods in the county, it'd take him over an hour to get here. The problem with, if they don't have the truck at home, they're not gonna get in uniform. and drive their personal vehicle in uniform. So they're gonna come, you have an emergency, like Mr. Wilson said, where this rescue squad can't get in the house, or there's a traffic stop and there's a dog involved, they're gonna have to travel all the way, get in uniform, and then come to that. And that's going to increase that call time significantly. Stacy comes through by East Carter's Valley just about every morning. And they're on duty in the county at that point. Otherwise, he'd be driving to the animal shelter out of uniform. They're not gonna get in uniform and drive their personal vehicle.
Why?
Because it's a liability. They're in a police uniform in their personal vehicle. If they stop at a store or something and they're in their uniform and something goes down, people expect them to react, and they don't have their truck, their equipment, or whatever. That's just not, we're not gonna ask them to do that. Now, if we're willing to have that delay and provide a place for them to change into uniform, now that's a different situation. But there's just two of them that's on call at home.
I'm gonna speak out on the volunteer side of the fire department. Sometimes I have my gear on before I get my personal vehicle to get to the station.
You're not a law enforcement officer.
No.
There's an expectation when you have your badge and gun on to react.
Which is more important, somebody in a house fire that needs to get out with the fire department, or you know, on another call. I've got your call sheets, Bill, and they don't have very few callers. I got it from dispatch last year.
But they do have it.
Yeah, a few.
Right, I'm sorry, moving on. Were there any other questions that we wanted to address that?
Thank you for addressing
What
this.
would them all do, want no volunteers? Sometimes I drive my vehicle back, everything else. What would you do? But we'll need the golf course for a little golf. We need to look pretty, but not help nothing else, not help my mom. We'll tax my mom to death, and she can't even buy that medicine, can't even buy fuel and that. What we supposed to do? Put it on, get something and drink. We need to help the fire department, and I say the truth, we need more volunteers, need this, need that. But every time you're trying to help someone, somebody will put your foot on you. Do we need that more? Your mom is having a heart attack. Would you want me to say? That's okay, it's going down the road.
Hey, Josh.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. We know what the golf course took in. What did it spend?
Yeah, we need to play golf. Oh. That golf, kick that ball, but
I was told the golf course gave the county
Don't go now.
$200,000 last year. Just straight across the board, they give about 1,000 against. It wasn't 100,000 in one or whatever.
It'll take me a minute to pull up last year's budget, which we're not necessarily finalized with, but.
Well, while you're looking at it, Mr. Baker mentioned the letter to the CDC. Is there anything going on with that?
Well, I was gonna, address that and apologize for not mentioning it, I guess, would have been last month. The most recent data for the cancer study, they did report, and I believe that would have been for 2024 data, is that correct?
And this is only from the Virginia Department of Health. This isn't a national organization or anything.
Right, and they released that report, which of course showed again that there wasn't any evidence of a cluster, that the number of cancer cases in the county did not exceed what they would normally, I guess, expect throughout the state. So then it didn't classify as a cluster. The next year's data will come out in the spring of '27 was their plan. Again, this is similar to, I think, a lot of EDA projects. It's frustrating to have to wait to hear back, but it's their process is good or bad. But
Yeah, I was thinking about that though. I mean, it really wouldn't hurt to send a letter to the CDC at this point. Would everybody be okay with sending that? I mean, you know, Virginia has done what they can do, but maybe it does need to be a national.
I will say the CDC has to sign off, so they send, once they get their data collected and packaged up, they send it to the CDC.
Yeah.
The CDC has to sign off on it before they can release it. But I agree, we could send a letter.
Yeah, do we need a motion for that, or is consensus good enough? Is that-
A motion or?
All right, I'll make a motion that we address the CDC and send them a letter with the county's current state.
I'll second that.
Zach, the second, everybody else vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I say something?
Sure.
What we're gonna do, throw Mama on the bus and then throw the young one on the bus? That should be per order, not that. And you know, we need to help people. Y'all just sat there and seem like you just, will ask for a little help and just seem like you wanna help something. Getting that ball, but don't help Mama. Don't help that young one.
The Virginia Department of Health has been working on it.
We need a little help about the rescue car and amp and stuff. I mean, you know, just seem like we're just trucking every way we turn.
I think you'll find that is the way of most counties.
And we also have Megan Smith and Christina Hurd also working on this too. On July the 26th, they had an informal meeting with the project manager of the Virginia Cancer Registry. This lady has been in the position since this past March and wanted to meet with them face to face. She has tons of experience with public health and public relations. They had a very, very good conversation with this lady. So they're still working on this also. So, and you can keep up with that on Facebook. It's called Scott County Strong. I highly recommend, if you've got questions, reach out to Megan Smith or Christina Hurd and talk to them and see, what's going on. But they're always posting, and they're working every single day on this. And they're talking back and forth, and they're trying to, come up with, people that they can talk to and to help them and to help us in the county. So.
The 2026 actual showing right now was $329,532.78 for the golf course, park and golf course.
All right. Is that all the questions?
A couple other things. Advertising for reassessment.
That was on my report, but yeah, I'll mention it now. It is up, the request for proposals for the reassessments up on the website, currently, so.
I will mention, Mr. Manus, you did do a work order. That's probably the best approach to working on these roads, is to submit a work order to VDOT, and I'll be glad to assist anyone that needs that. But and once you submit it, if after 2 weeks you don't get a response, then call me, and I'll be glad to follow up. I do that every week on some work orders and getting good results. But that's one way to approach that. But that's all I have.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to Cove Creek, Mr. Fields. Are y'all surviving with the rain?
We're surviving, yes.
Well, have you got them to be very rock yet or got a permit?
No. It's hurry up and wait.
I will say, before you start, I did call, or tried to call Mr. Ishida and left him a message, and I never heard back from him. So hopefully you have.
I talked to TEQ week before this. Ethan Verts. And he said my permits should be approved and ready last week. I've not seen any of them. Checked the Army Corps of Engineers website, nothing on it about the permits. They're still being processed. So, don't know.
Was it got lost in the mail?
Possibly.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't put enough stamps on it.
Very possible, but
The gentleman that was interested in getting the material out, is he, I guess, when is he available is he available whenever the permits come through to start working on it, or?
should be, yes. Last time I talked with him, he had his excavator tuned up and ready, the trucks lined up, and he was ready to go as far as I know. He said all the people that worked down there at the rock store was excited about getting in the creek and getting the rock, so. Just waiting on permits.
Well, I'll keep trying to contact DEQ. Maybe I'll reach out to you here in a few days and make sure that, you know, if you have the permits, that'd be great. If not, I'll see what I can, maybe try to find a different contact or something, but we'll keep trying.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Your persistence and patience has been incredible. I would have done been hopping mad.
How you and VDOT doing in Dry Creek?
No good. The lady stayed, my mother today, said VDOT come up the other day, a couple weeks ago, I guess, and parked there in my driveway, walked up on the bridge and looked up and down the creek, but I've not heard a thing. I don't know what they decided on, but I've not heard nothing. And now they seen it was in bad shape, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know that, don't you?
Yeah. With timber in it.
Yeah.
That's just the way you hang it.
It's gonna be a mess if the creek gets up a whole lot. It'll stop everything up. But that's all I have. I've not heard a thing from them.
No, I was up there about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I've seen no action.
No, it does look bad. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, maybe now might be more appropriate time for me to cover something I was going to cover on my report. But you know, through the NRCS monies that we do have for creek restoration, I guess you want to call it, or mitigation, we did. Myself and Mr. Dingus went around and looked at the different project areas that were fundable, deemed fundable through NRCS. We looked at them with Lane Group, our engineering firm. And the Cove Creek and Dry Creek were two of the areas that we did take on to and look. You know, we looked at both of them briefly. They were looking at, you know, just making sure they knew where they were at so that they could start working on some engineering, which NRCS is paying engineering costs 100%, so that would fall on the county. So we're moving forward with that. Once that's done, then we can come back to you all and kind of show findings and cost estimates and stuff. But Dry Creek, Cove Creek, Big Moccasin, what were the other ones that we looked at? Copper Creek. And we did have another resident in Copper Creek reach out to us with a tree that had uprooted basically by the creek. It wasn't, I think, initially discovered, but it's definitely an issue. We walked that and showed the engineering firm that piece too, so they'll include that in their estimates. But it was a very, it was a good afternoon going around. There was another one in Duffield. What's the name? I don't know that the creek has a name.
North Fork. Yeah, stream up above, where you turn at McDonald's up the, Natural Tunnel Parkway. Off to the right, that little.
It's a small stream, but you can see, just how high the water's gotten, because it's really eat away down on that bank. There's definitely an issue there. I don't know. That's for the engineers to figure out how to fix, but, so we'll wait on that. They're gonna work on that. I just wanted to mention that since we were talking about Dry Creek and Cove Creek, that we did, those two were included in that, so we came up there and looked at those. I agree, there's a lot of debris in Dry Creek that needs to be cleaned out. Hopefully we can get somebody to get in there and do that, whether it's VDOT or I don't even, maybe the power company. It looks like maybe a lot of that was done when they cut brush through the power lines and maybe just dropped it right into the creek. But we can keep following up on
But down there at the Redstone, they said that creek, I've got it on my mind, but probably the Stop Creek is what it is. They said it, about a month ago, heavy rain come through there, that it even flooded that. So I've been around for 67 years and I've never known that it goes across the road in no time. I said that I've never known that. I'm not saying it hasn't, but maybe some of them creeks through there needs to be cleaned out too while we're doing it.
I do remember when that happened, yeah, that it was coming across the road there. It wasn't real deep, but it did come across. I know there was a fire call up by Natural Tunnel that day, and there was it was coming across.
Well, they even told me Clinchford got shut down there before daylight and opened it up. I'm gonna be honest as I can be. I never seen him raise that fast there in Clinchford. Usually it takes it at least 24 hours before it raises. Then it takes it 24 hours after the river raises when it's raining to go back down. But I'll agree that we've had a whole lot of heavy rain down your way.
Yeah, 600 was almost a passenger.
Yeah,
and they had to shut down one lane of the 4 lane.
Yeah, some of them told me that.
It was rough. It was a dangerous time to be at. All right. It's before we move on to new business, we'll take a little break here. Be back here. All right. We'll start her back up here and move on to new business. Fiscal year 27 draft performance contract with Planning District 1 Behavioral Health Services.
Yes, this was included, the revised contract was included in your all's packets. You all had previously approved the contract, but they made a few revisions there and just needed the board's new approval on that.
Most of that is around Medicaid billing, it looks like. All right. Do I have a motion to approve this contract?
I'll make the motion to approve the contract.
Mr. Bricky makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Jeter seconds. And with that, everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to proposed contract with Just Appraised.
So this is something that Ms. Tiller had been working on for a little while. Just Appraised is a company that has a software that helps with, I guess, data input from deeds. Once the deed's recorded at the courthouse, the clerk's office, you know, they could scan that deed in, and then the software would pull the relevant information for Commissioner Revenue's system and input that in automatically. Of course, there would be, I think there's some checks and balances there, so once a new deed goes in, then Commissioner Revenue's office would see that. It would either come in and say that it was all good, they could review it and then approve it to post in their system, or there'd be red flags that they can customize to say, hey, you maybe want to look at this, we didn't understand what this name was, or we don't understand, you know, whatever that there could be. And I was hoping Ms. Tiller maybe would be available to kind of talk about it a little bit more and go over pricing and stuff. That's probably in the agreement which you guys have in your packets. Of course, like any software, there would be a startup fee, so it'd be more for the initial 1 year, and then there would just be basically the maintenance, ongoing maintenance cost over the next however many years. I think maybe, if anybody has any questions, I can try to answer them. Ms. Tiller probably would have a better understanding of, exactly how that all works. Okay. I was just telling the board, basically, the clerk's office would scan in a deed. This software would then extract the relevant data from the deed and put it into Concise, right?
The Concise and the Just Appraised will kind of talk to each other. It will overlay and it will be checking for description matches, deed book matches. We can make it check or ask him to have it check in PIN numbers and map numbers, but a lot of times the deeds will actually have the wrong PIN number and map number, so I may not have it to check those because we don't want to take a chance that it'll match to a wrong parcel and transfer a wrong parcel, because lots of times not to say it's a bad thing, but they will not do a title search. They will use a previous deed, and it may have an original map number on it, and there might have been 2 more parcels made out of that original map number. So it will, in that case, if it uses the original map number and PIN number, it will transfer the wrong one. So we'll probably throw that one out and not have it matching, and go with the description. The legal description is what a person really buys, and we see a lot of times that it don't have the right PIN number and map number. It's AI basically. It will take that information, match it to the concise information from the previous owner, match the grantors and the grantees. The grantor is the seller, the grantee is the buyer, and then do all the, pretty much do the transfer itself. But if it reads that it's a part of a description being 1.5 acres, when the original parcel it's coming out of is 20 acres, it'll flag. It'll say, I need somebody in the office to look at it, and this is going to be a split that we would manually have to do.
What's this gonna cost?
Looking at the contract here, it
It
says $10,360 for initial term 1, $10,878 per year for initial turn 2 and an implementation fee of $17,500.
Implementation would be 17,000 and 10,000 for the maintenance. I'm only asking for 1 year for right now, 1 year to start with, just because of the time frame that we're in and where I'm at. And if I'm the one signing the contract, then I can only really say I'll be here 1 year. So I will, as we get to it, if I'm here another year after next year, we see what happens in the election, not to bring that up. But I plan on being here. So, but you all, everybody, taxpayers make that decision for me.
Is this something we have to have?
We do not have to have it, but here's where I'm at with, I always did the real estate in the office, I always did the transfers and the splits, and tried to kind of categorize, the split needs to be mapped. And I had a girl that was learning the concise, and she learned it pretty good, and she did a great job, but she left me for more money. Our people in our office do not make the money that they should make, and I'm not here asking for a people, I'm here asking for a software. That if I turn the computer on and it's working, it's working. My people leave, I have to get another people. My person has to be trained. I have to be the one to train, because I'm the one that knows deeds and transfers. It's hard for me to get somebody trained accurately. So right now, my new person, not to throw her out there, but she's doing the best she can. She's doing all the easy ones, as we call it, straight transfer. She's doing those, she's letting the others that she has aside for me to look at, and I'll be doing those to split between a former owner and another owner. And there becomes another map number and another PIN number. And another mapping.
Seems like the more of these programs we get, the worse off we get, the more problems we have. That's just my opinion.
What's the estimated monthly time that it would save with this software?
I don't remember what he said, it was,
I don't remember
I
what the
don't-
number would
I don't
be.
know.
There would be a time savings.
I just know the efficiency of it and the accuracy of it would help. And we wouldn't be having to backtrack and abate and supplement and do those things if we do get it wrong. And there's a chance we could get it wrong right now. And there's a chance that I may not get my splits done, because I am doing new construction and I'm the only one to do the new construction, and I don't have that done.
There is another Virginia county that's utilizing just
Montgomery
appraise.
County does use it, and they do like it.
Do they have someone reviewing its output, or are they just using its output directly?
They would have to look at it, I mean, we would have to look into it.
You
look
act,
at
yeah,
it.
you have to click approve or whatever to
Yeah.
actually get it to post to
So
the system, so somebody has to still make sure that it doesn't have any flags.
I
So-
just see that it would be more efficient, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else as the commissioner, whether it's that I'm laid up or somebody else has to be in here. I mean, the computer's on and it's doing most of it, and if I was at home or wherever, I can chime into it and I can look at it at home and also on my laptop.
Mr. Chairman, I might, up to the board, if we wanted to delay a vote on this contract till later in the agenda, till after closed session.
So how much total would you need for 1 year? The 17,000 or the 28,000? Because we were gonna add that 10,360 plus 17,500, so that's around $28,000 is what you would need for 1 year.
Right, in 1 year.
Yeah, that'd be the setup cost, so then, every year after that'd be the
Would be 10,000.
10,800.
What's their timeline to implement? Is it a month, 6 months?
They already, the best I understood, they wanted to put it in July, but we didn't have everything in order on our side of it.
they have, Matt Wright's, met with them, and I think,
And Bo.
yeah, they've got it basically built out to work with Concise, so implementation shouldn't take too long if they were to go for it.
So 10,000 is added, the maintenance fee is added the first year along with the
Correct.
The way
installation.
I understood it.
It'll be
28 start with.
around 28,000.
Correct, to get it in, right, that would be the year one total cost. That is right. Did that also include, there was something that they were gonna work with you on to
Was it 2,000?
discount something?
Yeah, 2,000, they were taking off the 2,000 that Concise is gonna charge for doing his part to where it'll mesh. And then if we have any other counties that come on board, then he will work with us with a referral, I guess, discount.
Referral discount.
Is this a single source as far as this program goes? There's nobody else out there?
Right. That's the way Montgomery County wrote it up. We have that, language there, yes. They're the only game. Which is surprising, as, you know, AI has evolved, you know, no one else isn't doing it, but.
These deeds are complex, and I think that people who worked on it probably found that out. Sorry, I've been going through
I'm just
deed issues
saying,
myself.
coming in off the street, your everyday Joe that doesn't have real estate or some kind of background in it, it's complicated. You gotta know what meets and bounds are, you gotta be able to, sometimes they don't even tell you how the acreage is, you gotta be able to calculate the acreage. I'm just saying, it will be better for our office.
Any other questions anyone want to ask Ms. Dillon? We'll delay the vote on this till after the closed session.
I did have one question. What percentage would you guess that, are splits versus total properties?
Probably 75, 25, something maybe like that.
So 25.
Maybe not as much.
25 splits.
Mhm.
Oh, and
And we do approximately 1,000 transfers a year, around about.
yeah, this service capacity will not exceed 1,300 documents per year.
Right, and that's based off of what I told you.
And that is just, this is just sales and transfers, right? Like, this isn't going, looking back through our catalog and correcting anything. Because I know
No,
there's a lot of,
right,
that go back decades.
right. Especially in the title searches, and it's time consuming, and I don't have time for that either. We used to do a lot of that.
I guess I've got one of those through however many years.
Yeah, I was just making sure that the
So
document.
just so you know, it's just me and two people, and you all vote on it, I appreciate it if you consider it. I've got to get towards Dungan right now, and I appreciate you all just considering it. Feet on the ground, and I appreciate you all. Whatever you decide, I hope you think about what's best for the county, not what Tammy Taylor wants. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Taylor. All right, we'll delay voting on that afterwards. Duffield Days fireworks permit.
Just need a board approval. We did receive, the insurance policy, on this. The EDA has previously approved, them, shooting the fireworks off.
Yep. And they shoot them from on top of the hill there at the Crooked Road Tape
Correct.
Center. So that's the reason that the EDA is involved there and the insurance as well. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, give them a permit for fireworks. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Addington seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to Spearhead Trails.
Another thing I was gonna talk about later, but more appropriate now. I did meet with Spearhead Trails last week. They came in and was discussing, hopefully it's public now, but it will be, they will be closing the Thunderstruck Trail. Just underutilized. They've had a lot of vandalism and stuff up there. You know, of course, Thunderstruck was constructed as a foot trail / horse trail, and they just said that they've had zero, I think here recently, zero participants on that trail. So their board voted to close Thunderstruck. So they just wanted, and they also wanted just to, you know, put it out there that they are looking for possible trails in Scott County, preferably motorized. That tends to be what's getting the most traction. So, you know, if anybody out there has land or knows of current, you know, trails that people are utilizing, you know, that they, Spearhead could come in and, of course, maintain that and, you know, put rangers out there and run it more officially. It does bring, you know, you look at St. Paul and some of the other areas that they do have regular ATV traffic on Spearhead Trails. It does provide a pretty good economic impact to those areas. The other thing that they wanted, that they were talking about was just parking. So a lot of these areas, you know, people are pulling in these long trailers with 1, 2, 3, sometimes ATVs trailered. It gets to be tough for them to store those. I know a lot of, they told one story of someone had a long trailer going to stay, I guess, at an Airbnb. They couldn't get the trailer there. So they actually talked to some of the neighbors around there and were able to drop the trailer, ride their ATVs to the Airbnb and then access trails from there. But parking's definitely an issue, and they were just kind of talking, you know, future development if we ever were to find a trail in Scott County, you know, to think about parking and where you can get people in and out easily. But what I have under new business is they did bring or mail to us an invoice for annual contribution for FY 2027, the amount of $5,000 is their ask. I did inform them that line items had been consolidated into board contingency for this budget year, and that I would bring this to the board on whether or not you guys would like to contribute this year.
Question, have they worked with the Forest Service, the United States Forest Service, with the National Forest around Duffield? There's a ton of trails up there, and people take their Jeeps out there all the time.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the roads are in okay condition. Personally, that's what makes them a little bit fun.
Right.
But, you know, they could, I don't know if they could partner with them to, you know, upkeep some of those Forest Service roads and have, you know, additional hands out there to help them.
I believe they have, you know, I did ask them also about state parks with DCR. They are working with them, I think, up at Breaks. You know, they've got some trails there. Because I was thinking, of course, Natural Tunnel, although I don't know. You know, anywhere you already have camping, it just makes sense, you know, that you could ride ATVs maybe around. It just makes it tricky, of course, on VDOT roads. You know, that's what the big hindrance is, I think, getting to and from areas.
Yeah, and you know, the National Forest area behind Duffield there is quite expansive. Like, it would be hard to have a ranger cover all that. But you could open up a few roads. There's at least one that leads all the way from the top of Cliff Mountain all the way down to Cracker's Neck, and you could go, you know, up to shoot, what's the name of that place more? Big Cherry.
Yeah.
And that'd be to me,
right.
you know, that'd be a fun drive. Take a family home.
It would. Yeah, and I can reach out and mention that to them. They did also say that priorities, they were gonna start talking with the Clinch River State Park, trying to figure out, because their priorities are, you know, connecting trails to fishing areas, because a lot of folks will wanna ride the trail, put a fishing pole in the back of their ATV or whatever, and be able to fish along the trail as well, so Big Cherry would make sense.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of work at Big Cherry now.
Yeah.
I should know the answer to this, but I don't. Is Thunderstruck in Scott County for the horse park?
It's right on top of the mountain, so I'm saying those wise in Scott.
Yeah, it was you know, I think that's why they wanted to come by, you know, that was kind of their only footprint, however small it was, but it was a little bit in Scott County there, that it is closing, so, you know, they're looking for a solid motorized trail in Scott County, but,
Would
you know,
that do?
right now there's
That
not.
would do for motorized?
They have issue, I think it's with maybe landowners or something, I asked that, and, no motorized on Thunderstruck, yeah, was allowed.
I don't think the National Forest Service will allow any motorized trails in Scott County, from what I understand.
Yeah.
They've tried in the past.
Yeah, I know. I wish they would change that. You know, you go out west, like Utah, and there's a lot of public lands that they don't mind, you know, ATVs and side-by-sides riding on. They've got trails everywhere, and it's really nice. I don't see what the difference, I know they're different departments, but I don't see what the difference in, you know, the land out west and the land here would be. If it's nationally owned, we should all get to enjoy it. And, you know, if they wanted to pay for, you know, some rangers to be out there and make sure people did stay on the trails, that would be a big bonus. Because I could see, you know, young kids get riding, and they'll go off the trail.
Spirit Trails does have patrols.
Right. Yeah. So it's just something to think about. It's been something I wish that we could work with them on, but I'm like you, I don't see it happening. I just like to bring it up because it would be really nice. I think it would, you know, bring a little bit of lift to Duffield in the recreation part.
So again, their ask was $5,000 from the board for an annual contribution. Board did not contribute last year. I don't know if the year before last there was anything or not.
It would come out of contingency, correct?
It would have to come out of contingency. In years past, Spearhead Trails had a line item in our budget. And, you know, like a lot of other organizations or things, but this budget year, everything was consolidated into contingency.
They got 5,000 in 25 and 14,000 in 24.
They got a big grant, didn't
The
I think
state
they
gave
have
them
gotten,
over 3
In
million.
2026, they received $2.1 million in general
That's it.
state funding. In 2025, they received $5 million
From the state.
from the state. The $5 million was a one-time.
they? I thought that would take care of their expenses.
For me, you know, if they're closing down the Thunderstruck Trail, it's just, it makes it harder to justify as a line item there. I would love for them to get trails in Scott County. I think that would make the argument for contributing a lot more solid.
and I know Mr. Pike had kind of put it out there when he was here several months ago, but just want to put it out there again. Yeah, it would be great if we could find a trail in Scott County that, you know, that they could build out and maintain for motorized use. So just putting it out there for the public. If you know of anything, you can reach out to them or us and try to work with them. But right now, yeah. there would be no footprint in Scott County.
All right. Any other actions that anyone wants to take? We'll move on to.
I would suggest that at some point, if there was one established, we could revisit this. And
Absolutely.
Even though it might not be during the budget, discussion.
100%. I think just about everybody would be willing to. If they had a good footprint in Scott County, I think it's only fair that we help. I appreciate you for bringing that up. All right, moving on. Thomas Village Community Center.
So a little background here, Journey Church, gentleman with Journey Church had reached out. I think he maybe had talked to Mr. Williams, our building official, while he'd been doing some HVAC work up there on the building, about interest in purchasing the building from the county. And I did receive an email just wanting to meet about the possibility. And I unfortunately had a scheduling conflict, so Mr. Dingus and Ms. Kegley met with him on that. And I know, I guess that conversation went well. I did also get, because the county currently leases the building to Three Bells. In that lease, I believe there's a right of first refusal with Three Bells. They have since emailed me over a letter basically releasing that, and that they would be in support of the county if so willing to sell to Journey Church. And then I believe attached to the packet was the letter from Journey Church, formally, I guess, expressing their interest in purchasing the building. There was not a offer as far as monetary value on that letter, but if Ms. Kegley or Mr. Dingus wants to speak to, since you guys have met with them on this.
They're very interested in the property, and he did mention a number of 50,000, 55, 50, yeah, $50,000 for that property. I'm not, or if you're not familiar with the property, it's in need of a lot of repair and maintenance. Mr. Williams was able to get the heat pump going, but he said that's a temporary fix, and it's probably a $5,000 or better heat pump from the get-go. And there's a lot of other maintenance issues that if we were to keep the building, that the county would incur over the years. He relayed to us that they're wanting to maintain it open for the community, for the ball teams to have in practice, or the jams that they do there, music jams, and Three Bells will still be able to utilize the building. So
I would agree that building needs to be sold by the county, but we also need an appraisal to know what it's worth. And to throw something else in there, the building in down Lagoon, let's have it appraised. And so those are two things that are just going to cost us in the future, and unless somebody's got another idea to use either one of them, it's just going to cost the county to keep them.
Right. It definitely, I think, will turn into more of a money pit for the county to keep. I guess the question for the board is, are you interested in exploring the possibility of selling the building? And if you are, of course we could probably get an appraisal, or, do we want to advertise that for sale? Obviously Journey Church has expressed interest in purchasing. That doesn't necessarily mean the board would have to sell to Journey Church, but if you're going to explore the sale, however you all wish to proceed.
Located there.
Duffield and Thomas Village.
Yeah, right.
Did you say they had first refusal?
Yeah.
Three Bells.
Three Bells has first refusal.
Correct, and they waived that. They sent that letter.
Oh, they waived it.
Right.
Okay. I think we need an appraisal and then put them up for sale.
I do have a question about that building. That building, from my understanding, was built when they moved Clinchport up there. And I think that was built with federal funds. Are we allowed to sell that one and take the money?
We are allowed, but we can't, I don't think we can sell it to just anybody. That's why this is kind of ideal, that they're interested, because they would keep it under the same use. We got permission when we started leasing it to Three Bells for them to use it. We got permission from whoever we needed to for that, and this would be similar to that, so I think selling it would be the same as leasing it when they're gonna keep it as a community center. You couldn't just sell it to somebody to open a hardware store or something in it. Also about the appraisal, if you get an appraisal for,
150,000.
yeah, and they don't wanna pay that, then where are you? It's kind of not so much about what the building is worth as what it's gonna cost us over the years to maintain it. And when
who
you
we
have
can
a
sell it
willing,
to. And who we can sell it to.
yes, and when you have a willing buyer who will keep it under the same use as it is now, which is approved by the people who loaned us the money to build it to start with, it's kind of a win-win that way.
If we sell it to Thomas Village Community Center, will that be tied to the church or not? What I'm getting at is, will we collect taxes off of it?
No, it wouldn't be on the tax rolls, but it's not now. And you have to have a public hearing, so that if anybody else was interested, they could come forward at that public hearing.
So we could sell the extension office also, the old extension office?
The only thing I wanted to say about the old extension office down Daniel Boone is, I 100% agree, that we could explore the idea of selling that. The only thing I think it could come in use for reassessment, to have space for them to work out of. I know in the past, they've worked out of the golf course, and it becomes a little crowded up there. It's a little bit of an inconvenience. We could certainly, if the board wants to move forward with looking at selling that, we certainly can. That was just one use that I had thought of, that we could use that for, to get us through reassessment and then explore something.
The building beside the food line that we're using, is there room in there for reassessment? I've never been in it. Earl, you know.
I think they've filled that out pretty well. I think maybe there could be consolidation, but a lot of those offices they're using for storage. And I will say, everybody that worked on that, it's a great space. That turned out really well up there for extension office, but I don't know that would work.
Could they use this room for a reappraisal?
And they have done that too in the past. They've worked out of here.
It's sitting here empty most of the
There
time.
are options, yeah. That was just one thought, to have their own space, but, if the board wanted to move forward with exploring a sale on that, that would be.
I'd like to sell the extension office and get it back on the tax roll. Possibly sell it to somebody and keep paying taxes.
We don't have any ties to the Daniel Boone building, do we, that we would have to meet if we sold it? I mean, a loan or not loan, but anybody tied to it like they are to Thomas Village?
No covenants or anything.
That would make a good house. We get property taxes, really there.
The only thing about that one is there something tied to the APCA building?
Yes, sir. The septic treatment plant that's in between those two buildings is shared by both of those buildings. So a new private owner would have to work out some agreement with APCA on their septic.
Which building is that?
That's the old health department building that Abaca's in, above where the extension office is.
Yeah.
That's going back a long ways.
That's back a ways, yeah.
All right, so what action do you need from the board on the Thomas Village Community Center?
Well, I guess with just permission to advertise for a public hearing.
Anybody want to make a motion to advertise?
Are you gonna get an appraisal or not?
Well, kinda like Sally said, you couldn't appraise something that, it's got a discrepancy, however she explained it to her.
Whole thing appraisal do is tell you the value of it, that don't mean we have to sell it for that.
Yeah, but what would that look like? If you don't?
At least you'd know what you do. If I was gonna sell a piece of property, I'd wanna know what it was worth.
Isn't there a gym in there? I've been to a gym and.
It used to be Head Start. It's been about 32 years since I've been in there.
I don't know if I've ever been there.
Whatever y'all think, it don't matter to me.
I think Daryl's right. We should at least get it appraised. You know, there's a small pool of buyers that we can sell to that it would change that math on our side. But I would like to know.
So we wanna get an appraisal, can we do that and still advertise for a public hearing for next month?
I don't think you'll get it done that quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So maybe we just wanna make board action to, obtain an appraisal.
Yeah.
on the bill.
All right, I'll make a motion that we obtain an appraisal on the Thomas Village Community Center. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Mr. Ricky seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
One thing, do you wanna go ahead and get an appraisal on extension office also?
We could do that maybe on a separate board action.
Yeah, that'd be a separate motion.
Okay.
All right. Everybody in favor vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll get one for the community center, and then do we want to get do I hear a motion for a second appraisal for the old health department building?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Mr. Ricky makes that motion, and Mr. Castillo second it. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Good. All right, moving right along then, bookkeeping items. Bart.
Have one thing, the litter control department received $1,000 for the Keep Virginia Beautiful Green Grant. And we need to appropriate that $1,000 to GL code 1000-35800 406010 000-000-000-000 dash 01210 for the project. I know, it was stuck.
So moved.
All right.
Make the motion.
All right, Ms. Addington makes the motion to appropriate those funds. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Glover seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good job, Stacy.
Yes.
Moving on to appointments.
You have one appointment to the Tourism Development Committee for Gay City. Kevin Barnett has applied and he's your only applicant.
You gonna do a good job?
Yes, sir. Have you heard about the Renaissance Fair?
Every day.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, nomination cease, and we vote by acclamation.
Hold on, I'll nominate Mr. Barnett. And
I'll make the motion that nomination cease and we vote by acclamation.
I'll second.
there are seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
All right, approved.
You have one appointment to the Tourism Development Committee at large, and you have one applicant, Michael Eden.
Okay. Do I hear a nomination for Mr. Eden?
I'll nominate Michael Egan for the at-large for the tourism committee.
Excellent. I make the motion that nominations cease and we vote by acclamation. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Jeter seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You have one position for the Mountain Empire Community College Advisory Board. You have 4 applicants: Kevin Barnett, Courtney Stidham, Michelle Stewart, and Glenn Broadwater.
I'll make a motion that we nominate Michelle Stewart for this position. I've known Michelle for a long time, her and her family. She's well educated, and we need to get all the young people we can on these boards, so I'll nominate Michelle Stewart.
I'll second that nomination. Are there any other nominations for this position?
I would like to nominate Glenn Broadwater.
Do we have a second for Glenn Broadwater?
I'll say.
Mr. Castile's a second for Glenn Broadwater. All right. Do we want to, I guess, we need a motion to cease nominations and we'll vote on these two?
You don't need that motion, you just vote.
Okay.
Take them one at a time.
All right, we'll go with Michelle Stewart first. Whoever's voting for that, just raise your hand. And then Glenn Broadwater. Okay. Ms. Stewart then.
And for the Planning Commission, you have 1 applicant, Shannon Stewart.
I'll make that nomination. Also, I've known both of these. This is husband and wife.
Yeah.
And I've known both families for years. They can't be beat. They've got a great education. They're great people. And Shannon is another young person we need to get involved in the county.
Yeah. I've been after Shannon for some time. He's a really bright person. I'll make the motion that nomination cease and we'll vote by acclamation. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Junior seconds. All in favor, vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You have no applicants for the Building Code Appeals Board.
Okay. You need to find someone for that. All right, moving on. County Attorney's report.
Excuse me, you all have my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. One thing I'd like you to consider after feedback from the fire departments and more research, we need to make a few changes to the fire tax ordinance that you all adopted recently. If I could have authority to advertise for that public hearing next month.
Anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make it.
Mr. Jeter makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Addington seconds. Everybody vote in favor of, by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate all you do. County Administrator report. Dr. Wilson.
Yeah, looking at our green sheets here under our claims, available cash general fund, $8,301,289.31. You can see how that compares to prior years. Of course, FY24 they're missing, just like it was in July. I think a lot of that had to do with switch over onto the Munis system. So we have our early set claims for the month was $1,190,533.23. Total claims for the month of $1,190,533.23. $955,266.47. Mr. Chairman, I just need a motion to pay the bills.
Right, do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Glover makes that motion, do I have a second? Mr. Castile seconds. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Little recap of the month. We covered some of these. The VA 250 event went over really, really well. It was a hot day, but I think we all got through. I think a good time was had by everybody. The feedback that we've gotten, social media and the public's been overwhelmingly positive. Had a huge turnout. I do want to thank all of our first responder agencies that made it possible. They were out there all day from, I think 6 a.m. to however late it was that we stopped. It was a long day. Scott County Sheriff's Office, Gate City Police Department, Gate City Fire, Weber City Fire, Hilton's Fire, Scott County Life Saving Crew, the National Guard, and the Virginia State Police, providing anything that was needed that day. Security, protection, helping out with any medical issues. I think the fire departments even responded to a fire that day while, pulling them away from the event. So there was a lot of hard work went into that. Also, to the town of Gate City, want to thank them for that partnership, making that possible. And the VA 250 committee, and Brittany and her tourism committee. I know we've got 2 new members on that now, and that's proved already to be a really good group of people to be able to put on these events. I will say, kind of leading on, I was on down my list, but I did attend the Gate City Town Council meeting. They did present a resolution of appreciation to the Scott County Tourism Committee and the VA 250 Committee. But, this is just very appreciative from them to go and accept this. But this is Brittany and her committee's hard work right here. I just wanted to make a point to mention that. And she's not just that one event, but all the great work that Brittany and her committees been putting into showcasing our county. So appreciative of that. Let's see. I covered last month that the bridge, Fort Quillen Bridge, had been approved. I have spoken to the family. We're working on nailing down a date. Once we get availability for as much of their family to be able to attend that dedication, I'll let the board know. Also let Town of Gate City know that we could coordinate having that dedication ceremony, and give VDOT enough time to get those signs up that they are ready. Mr. Dingus, if you could pull up that map. We'll talk, while we're on VDOT subject, we'll talk about the Smart Scale project that has been submitted. I know last month I promised a diagram so we could get a visual. Visuals are good. So really all this is doing is improving the sight line coming down off that hill. So you can see where it currently runs, the road, and then where they would kind of just veer that on up the hill and then change that median. We're not really changing how things function, it's just moving it up the hill so you can see around that corner better. But that's kind of what they had come up with for
that's
most beneficial for safety wise.
It's much better than what they had planned to start with.
Yeah, the arc that they initially had was very rough.
So fingers crossed that we'll get funding. I did speak with VDOT I don't think, unlike any other year, there's a lot of what they would classify as really good projects put into Smart Scale. They like this one. They want, they're hopeful that this one goes, but we'll just have to wait and see how it scores.
It makes a lot of sense for that intersection too, because there's a lot of folks that aren't familiar with the traffic or the speed that people are going that are coming into the 4-lane there, and you know they'll come across and they'll not realize that they're in a blind spot for one of the lanes there and pull out in front of people. Now I've had to, I don't know if any of y'all have, but I've definitely had to slam on time brakes a couple of times, give people room to get at it.
Yeah, and anytime coming down a hill, I think 60 miles an hour, but a lot of times, your vehicles are doing way more than that coming down the hill.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of times inadvertently, but it happens. Yeah. Doesn't give you a lot of time to react. I did, jumping ahead a little bit, but while we're on VDOT, I did attend the Strategic Highway Safety Plan regional meeting. So they are going around the state, meeting with different areas, just talking about safety. It was a really good meeting. Some of the things that were brought up, I know the town of Abingdon brought up a lot of stuff with like your e-bikes, safety as far as, they're coming on and off the trail there and coming into town, and there's, they're riding on the road. It's creating, they've had some issues, I think, there, and I think the more and more e-bikes get, popular and people start riding them more, it will create an issue. So that was brought up. There was just foot traffic, the availability of sidewalks. I know, and I mentioned even here in Gate City, I've seen folks walking from the neighborhoods into town. Once you're downtown, it's not so bad. You've got sidewalks to keep them off the roads, but it is an issue, especially late at night. I think one of the towns mentioned that, you've got folks going to work at, whether it's a Taco Bell or a McDonald's or whatever, and they're walking to and from their house at night. It does create a huge issue. So that was brought up. And then just the stuff inherent to rural areas, such as sidelines, such as shoulders or the non-existent shoulders of the roads that we have. And, and it boils down to, of course, the responses that everybody got was money, especially when you're talking about shoulders of the road. Some of that's the most expensive work that you can do. But it was good to at least, not only hearing from counties and the towns in the region, but also the folks working in Bristol, stating their frustrations with, you've got state people sitting in the room, they're gonna voice their frustrations too. We need more money. We're getting these requests. Guardrails was the big thing I think that they had mentioned to them, is they're overwhelmed with requests from the public to install more guardrails, because a lot of these areas there's not any, and no shoulders, you could drop off the face of the earth pretty quick, but they just don't have the money or the manpower to go out there and install them. So it was a good opportunity just to kind of talk through some stuff. They will be, once they make their round, I think we were the second stop. They were out Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area. And then they came all the way to Southwest. But once they make their rounds, then they will put together a strategic plan. We'll see what makes it and what doesn't. So that was good. Planning Commission, we had a Planning Commission meeting. I think we've got some more things to work through. Ms. Kegley was kind enough, she's been doing a lot of research on, of course, just code updates and stuff like that, but we'll address those moving forward. I mentioned attended Gate City Town Council meeting. Again, thank you to them for making that event possible, and their appreciation for tourism's work on that. attended regional jail meeting. We did end up getting the check for reconciliation. It's a little over $500,000 that we got back, so that's good news from regional jail. I believe there was some other money that will be coming to owed from the city of Bristol.
Yes.
Well, I don't know when we'll get that, but was that 200? I don't remember how much money that was.
No, it wasn't that much.
Wasn't
We got 500,000 back from the jail.
We did.
A little over 500,000.
And we just received
back
that
from the
check
jail.
Monday.
You done got it?
We got it, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And then Bristol's paying each locality debt service back. I can't remember how much it was. Was it 30 or 40 or something?
You might be right. Yeah, I think it was
Something
a lower
like that. I
amount.
can't
It
remember
wasn't.
exactly what it was. I meant to get them figures this morning before I left the house and I forgot them.
Yeah. So that's good. I think, you know, they're, of course, always working through different regulatory changes and stuff, but good meeting. It's always good to get some money back on reconciliation. I did have a meeting with EO, the Regional Workforce and Child Development Hub. Hopefully more to come with that. It was a productive meeting. I think, you know, just working with them, building that relationship out. They've done great things, of course, in Abingdon and then around the region. So, good group of folks there. Already covered the BDOT workshop, covered Spearhead Trails, the reassessment. The only other thing, the board did receive a letter, let me pull that up, from Lee County. Letter reads, it was sent to, of course, City of Norton, Scott County, Wise County, and Dickinson County in regards to the Lonesome Pine Regional Library. Letter's intent to notify Lonesome Pine Regional Library and all participating localities of Lee County Board of Supervisors' intent to no longer participate in the regional library. It is the board's understanding that the contract requires 2-year notice to each locality. Lee County Board of Supervisors are open to renegotiating the current contract. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So I just wanted to let this board know. Letter is dated July 17th. I think per the contract, as they say, it requires a 2-year notice. So, you know, I don't know, that's a long time to wait, but I don't know if that'll come to fruition or what, but that is their intent as of now. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that.
So they would close down any regional library branches inside of Lee County?
I would assume that would be the action, and I would imagine that would also raise the rest of the localities' contribution requirements if they backed out. I don't know the ins and outs of the contract, but I just wanted to make you all aware of that.
When are we gonna start advertising for the reappraisal?
It's advertised.
It's already?
It's on the website, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
if you know of anybody out there, just, spread the word. I know, Ms. Vickers is working on sending that out to the places that it's been sent out to before, but it is on the website if, anybody out there, is interested in submitting a proposal. So, I believe.
Hey, Bill, can you put that back on the screen? Yeah. Oh, can I speak here? You see how this road is built right here? Now, when you come out of here, you can't get enough run and go the way this our view is here. You can't see around the curve. If you pull out here, it needs to come on out here till you're getting along the straightaway to get you some speed up, because they're coming off the hill there, and it ain't that much view side. And what I'm saying, with a truck especially, time you come out of here, it needs to come way on back down here, and I've looked at it, and it's enough room to make that work. But that's.
Then you're right about that. I noticed that a while ago and didn't mention it. You need an access lane going south.
Yes.
Because you've got a turnoff lane coming from the north, but you need that access lane, and there is room.
Yeah, that's more important than the one
It is.
getting across there, because you can see this traffic here, but you can't see this traffic back here because the curve's a lot longer around it. It's you just can't see back behind you.
I don't disagree with you. You know, I don't know how the engineers all come up with it. I'm assuming they're thinking that, you know, you could pull out here and have enough room.
You can't do it.
I know. Well, you're not
I mean,
gonna build speed.
not what now, listen, I'm always down there coming that way, and I'm always going the opposite way. So that's the reason that I realize it, and listen, when I come out there with a truck, I tighten up, because I know I cannot get enough speed. If something comes around there, I know I'm hit. And you just take your chances. That's the best way to say it. And if you're coming off that hill, how much does it pick up with the weight of it? And you don't come off the first part of it, and your brakes is hot. Now I'll tell you something else that needs to be done down there at Duffield. It needs a light up there to let you know that it's a red light down there, and it's gonna catch you till it flashes like West Virginia's got. Now, it don't seem to have much problem to a day that it's 10 cars in line. So it's short your stopping ability, and then it'll be raining, so it'll scoot. Now, it don't happen too often, but it does happen. I mean, but that down there at Duffield, that would save a life. That would, if you're out of state or something come off of there, then it lets you know the red light is gonna catch you down there.
Yeah, that's something worth mentioning. Yeah, as far as this, you know, I think,
Now,
I question, you know,
this is something else that I've told them state police, and they told me that they do not listen to them. Just do their Spears Ferry. You had a 4-inch curve at one time, or 5-inch, and they kept blacktopping it, and you might have a 3-inch curve. And a 2 foot, not more than 3 feet. Traffic running both ways, 55 mile an hour. And if you go over that little berm, it needs a guardrail there, and probably a double guardrail, a double one to get through there. And years ago, they was 2 older women, and I'd always would see them when I was going through there 3 or 4 times a day, and they had a Catalina Pontiac, and they never did drive fast. And I think they got off the road on the right shoulder, and they overcorrected and ran across that concrete divider, and it killed them both. And but now, them some things that I'll run up and down through there, and I've seen it, and them ladies, they hit a tanker truck.
I agree. There's a lot of different safety improvements that need to be done. But that's all I have for my report.
I did have a couple of questions. I asked about the skill game tax last meeting. Did you find out anything about that?
I did speak with the sheriff's office. They're working with Commonwealth Attorney on best way, I guess, to handle that. But as it sits right now, it is illegal, so that's why we're not collecting taxes off of it.
Now, did we have an ordinance pertaining to that? If it was legal, because it's on the budget worksheet that we get at the bottom of our agenda.
I would assume there was a tax rate when it was legal. I don't know. There was.
How did that end up on there?
Yeah.
We collected taxes off of it a while, and then they cut them out.
And then they were illegal.
And now they've opened them back up, and I think we haven't collected anything.
Yeah, I think they're still illegal as far as the way it, and again, that would be on Commonwealth Attorney and the Sheriff's Office on how to handle that.
But that's something they're looking at now?
They are.
You hear anything about a casino going anywhere too? That's what we heard this morning.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's a rumor.
That's rumor.
Next question, the mailing completion level with the Commissioner's Office with the personal property tax for last year.
I don't know where they stand on that. That'd be a question for Ms. Tiller and Mr. Helms on where they
Doesn't that affect our
stand.
budget?
Well, certainly, yeah. I mean, as far as tax collection, it does.
We addressed Cove Creek, Mr. Perry with the CX railroad crossing removal in the slant area.
I haven't heard an update on that. I know Congressman Griffith's office was working with them, and they were anticipating hearing back from the railroad. From their conversations, it sounded positive. But yeah, I don't have an update. I can check in with them and see if they've heard back or where that stands.
I've got one also myself, right above Perry's up there, probably 300 or 400 yards, 5 or something. But they took mine out several years ago. And they told me that they would fix it back, and they did fix it back with gravels. And never did, then they took the gravels out. I'll put up with that about as long as I'm going to, because don't promise me something and don't. And I've been on to them about it.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate your hard work. You've been running you ragged with meetings, it sounds like. Public Service Authority, Mr. Dishman. Come on up. You're in the hot seat now.
I'm gonna stand so I can run. Please note that I am here. Ms. Addington, I'm here. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
On schedule, right? On schedule from August. I think it was January or February when I was here. How are you all? And we're having a great summer, and including at the PSA. Plenty of rain, and creeks aren't dry, which is good. Plenty of grass to mow. But I wanted to report to you on the state of the PSA, if you would like to hear, and I'll report on our what I think are our successes and what our challenges are. Starting with our successes, I want to talk about our mission. I think the PSA has been successful with its mission. I don't know if you realize, but the PSA is a very young public service authority, only 25 years old, and it has accomplished much in those 25 years. We serve approximately 2/3 of Scott County, which is a very rural county, and which makes it more difficult to serve drinking water, much less sewer. And we have expanded the sewer system, and we're in the process of continuing to expand to provide more water service, additional sewer service. But the PSA mission involves being an enterprise fund of the county, which means we are run basically like a business, and we're a little unique in that regard compared to a lot of county service authorities. We are not supported by tax dollars, and we are supported by our revenue from water and sewer sales, our customer user rates. So that is something unique and something to be proud of. And also, another area of success is our leadership. And I brag on our board all the time. There's a lot of long-serving board members there. That gives us a lot of institutional knowledge and history. But beyond that, they do a great job. Edgar Hood is chairman, Marshall Tipton's vice chairman. We got 3 of our members here, Mr. Bricky, Mr. Skeen, Mr. Jeter, in addition to Terry Campbell and Joe Horton. But they know what it means to be on a PSA board. They understand their role. They give us policy and guidance, and they let us do our job. And they do very well as a board. I know that because I know some other boards who maybe don't understand their role and get outside their lane and make it very difficult to operate their service authorities because they're not like our board. And our board provides strong leadership and guidance and policy, and they do a great job. We also have success in our personnel. The PSA has 31 full and part-time employees. We have a good mixture of long-term employees and new folks, always trying to bring new people in to learn from the older ones. We are trying to bring new operators in. We have a good crew. James Roten is our operations manager. James is over our operations and maintenance and over facilitating success for our treatment plants. And he does a great job with his crew. And we have 6 treatment plants and 6 different plant managers at each of those, 3 wastewater plants, 3 water plants. We're spread out, and they do a great job with, in most cases, pretty aging treatment plants. And they stay on top of their training. They enjoy their job. They do a good job making drinking water, producing clean water. I enjoy coming to work every day to work with these folks. And then there's our office staff who is on the front line of customer service and dealing with our customers, and they do a good job. Teresa Qualls is the business manager in the office, and we have 3 other ladies there, and they're always trying to do things more efficiently, do things smarter, faster, better, and they have been successful at that. And then on the technical side, we have excellent technical support. We have 2 engineering firms, Crossroads Engineering and RDA, Rinker Design Associates, used to be known as the Lane Group, and providing us technical support, not just on our construction projects, but day-to-day technical issues. And a lot of our success is owed to those consulting firms. I mentioned customer service. I think we have been successful in customer service. We focus on trying to make things as easy as possible on our customers, whether it's signing up for service or paying their bill, coming to the office, try to streamline things. We try to look at things from the customer's perspective and design our processes to make that as pleasant and as good experience as possible. Another area of success is our rates. We have had some increases, but if you compare our rates to the other county utilities in our area, Washington County, Wise County, Lee County, we have by far lower rates for water and sewer. So we're proud that we've been able to do what we've done, take on the debt we've taken on for projects, still maintain relatively low rates. And then the last item of success is our projects. A lot of what we do, a good portion of our budget is paying debt on projects. And a lot of our effort is focused on extending service, which ties into our mission of extending water service and sewer service. And so we keep a spreadsheet, which is probably, I don't know, this is quite large, the number of people who have requested service. And we have a process where they can do that online or they can do that at our office, and we track those, and we are regularly looking at what projects to recommend to the board to seek funding for. We have been successful at, you can't do projects without money, so we have been pretty successful at finding adequate funding for these projects and good grant loan mixtures, so preferably more grant, and we've done that quite a bit. So I can say that the PSA is being successful right now and has been successful over the past 25 years, owing to our leadership on the board and I meant to mention Sally. She's right there on the board too with us and providing us support and guidance and keeping us on track and everything in order. We appreciate Sally very much. And owing to our personnel, and they're the key to our success, our employees, and our technical help, and our customer service efforts, and our rates and our projects. But we have challenges. Of course, we've got, you know, it's a major undertaking to provide water and wastewater service to a rural area. It costs a lot to run water line when the houses are a mile apart. And with it, you know, we operate just on user rates, revenue from water and sewer sales. So, so one of our challenges is one of our successes is staffing. If you ever hire employees, you know what I'm talking about. It is not always easy to find the kind of employee you're looking for. We've been successful, and right now I think we have the best group of employees we've had, but we continue to have to stay on top of that. Of course, managing our employees, Filling vacancies, that's a challenge, that's going to be a challenge. Water and wastewater treatment plant operators are in short supply. We've got a program, an apprentice program, where we work with Mountain Empire Community College and their water and wastewater program, and we bring these young folks in and apprentice them, and with the promise of first a part-time job, then a full-time job when they get their operator license. That has been successful. That's a challenge. Another challenge is operating and maintaining aging infrastructure. We have a treatment plant that's 70 years old. We have another one that's almost 50 years old. Two that's almost 50 years old. You know, you have to plan, and what are you going to do 50 years from now? What's your sources going to be? And our board is looking at that right now with a water supply study. Are we going to maintain renovate, rehab our existing ones? Are we going to build a new water plant, or are we going to do a combination? So we're looking at an economic analysis to see what's best, to start that ball rolling, to try to be ahead of the game. There is just a lot of maintenance to do when you have 300 miles of water main and quite a bit of sewer line. We're adding about 10 miles of sewer line right now in Hilton's and Yuma, and a lot of pump stations, a lot of tanks. There's a lot of maintenance. And speaking of extending service, one of the challenges is balancing water quality with extending that service. So the further and further out you go, the older that water gets, and you've got to keep fresh water and chlorine in that water, and it dissipates and it becomes aged, and it affects some water quality issues. So that affects where we can send water, where we can build water lines. It affects the size of those water mains. Because the bigger the water main, the more that water, the longer that water has sat in those water mains. So that's always a challenge, balancing water quality with extending water service further and further out to rural areas. Maintaining low rates is going to continue to be a challenge, but we're determined to have relatively low rates for our customers, and we do whatever we can to maintain costs and get good funding offers for projects, so we keep our debt as low as possible. And then the last challenge that I'll mention is funding capital improvements. We're undergoing capital improvements all the time. We've got the Hilton's Yuma Sewer Project. We've got a water project going on up in Hunters Valley West. We have one started in Robinette Valley Road. Numerous others are in the works and are funded, but not yet started. But we've got some coming down the pipe that we've got to seek funding for. Because we're determined to accomplish our mission and provide safe drinking water and effective sewer service where we can at reasonable rates and very excellent customer service. So I think the state of the PSA is good right now, and we've got some successes that we need to continue to build on, and challenges that we're going to meet. But we're having a good time doing it, and we like it. So bring it on. And I'll be happy to answer questions if you have any.
Has there been any more thought given to any expansion down towards Fairview or Blackwater?
Yes. So actually, there is a project in Fairview, on Fairview Road. It extends from the end of our water main that we did, but it's a Lee County PSA project. So they're buying water from us, extending on Fairview Road to the Lee County line and on into Lee County. Flower Gap is what it's called. And I believe last I heard that had been funded. Yeah, so that's a Lee County project. Because the Scott County side only serves 2 houses, and they've got many more homes in Lee County to serve with that project. But then also up in Fairview, there's is it Beach Grove Road. It's a church or 2 up there, and I know there's folks that signed up needing water. It's an expensive project. Most of these projects we are talking about doing now are expensive projects, and when I say expensive, I mean over $50,000, even over $100,000 per house to extend water service. So, but you know, we want to do them, and we're going to try to get funding. But Beach Grove is another area out there. There are other areas that did not get served in the Fairview Phase 1 project that I know they're wanting water.
And I have several folks asking me about water going across Duffield Hill, you know, kind of following.
You're coming this way on the 4-lane?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The lady, well, I'm trying to think of her name, but I know her name. I can't recall it, but she has done a great job as a spark plug for that project.
Right.
And collected numerous user agreements. So the user agreements is the first step we have, the user agreements. The problem, and I told her, the problem with that project is you've driven on the 4-lane, you've toward Duffield, you've looked to the right, and what do you see?
It's all rock.
Yes. Well, that is also in the ground, and that is going to make it very expensive, perhaps even cost prohibitive to do that project. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that we could serve all the way almost to the intersection you showed, the State Park. But we're still looking at it and doing some cost estimates.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll hold a lot of time.
Oh, good.
What's your
Good
projected
questions.
date for the Hilton's project to complete it?
We think that the Hilton Sewer project will be completed in calendar year 2027. That's about as close as I can get right now. Yeah. The first phase, but none of it can go in service till it's all done. First phase, the first contracts, phase 1, Hilton's will be done this year. And I also wanted to, when I was talking about the board, I wanted to give thanks to some folks on our board regarding projects. You mentioned the sewer project. So Mr. Jeter has really been behind the Yuma project, and he's down in that area, but he's not served by that project. But he has pushed and pushed for years for that project. We're finally getting it done. On the Hilton side, Mr. Tipton is the one who recommended this board do the Hilton Sewer project. He brought it to my attention, our attention, the board approved. But that's a project that was first proposed in, the records I looked at, as far back as I could see, was 1970. But it took somebody like Marshall to recommend it, ask about it. We said, yeah, let's do it. And that was close to 10 years ago. Then we ran into COVID and all that inflation, but we're doing it now. And then Mr. Skeen, he has pushed hard, done a lot of legwork, getting user agreements for the Big Moccasin project, and now it's there was gonna be big moccasin phase 2, but it's morphed into Central Scott Water phase 1, and he continues to do a lot of legwork and on that project. And so anyway, we appreciate all our board members. We have a good variety of them, and they're all interested in the projects. And so I wanted to point those three out because those are current projects that are funded, and one of them's under construction.
Something that's been in the news in the last week is hacking of utilities. And I don't think rural areas are going to be affected. Is that something you've thought about?
Well, yes, I get those emails. So I get emails from EPA, emails from Virginia Department of Health, and I've read that there's a cybersecurity threat, recent real threat. Some have been attacked through PLCs, programmable logic controllers. We have one or two of those, so our folks are aware of it, and our IT folks are aware of it. And we have, as far as I know, we have not experienced any problems. But I mean, we could have had an attack and it was thwarted, and you don't know. But yeah.
Any other questions, Mr. Church? With that, I think it's good.
Well, let me say one thing to close on that. You mentioned a lot of people involved, but it comes through strong leadership on your part. And you've moved the ball forward. And
well, people low profile,
but I wanted to mention that because you've taken this project a long way.
I appreciate that. But it's a team effort. It's a big team, so we're good. We're doing good.
I don't see how you got it as far as quickly as you possibly have.
Well, my predecessors built this, so I stepped into some big shoes. You know, they created the PSA. I don't know, that would be tough, but they built it and just, you know, passed the ball off to me. So I'm thankful for them.
Thank you, Mike, for all you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And keep buying that beef, right? And the water, of course. No bottled water.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Moving on to Board of Supervisors comments, requests, and recommendations. I'd like to open this one by saying a big thank you to Josh for continuing my discussion. I got started with EO. I think they're going to be a great partner for the area, and I'm hoping that we can work with them to bring some child care into the region.
Very well needed.
Yeah, so really appreciate that, and that's all I've got. Anyone else with comments or recommendations?
Josh, what did you say that golf course was it costing us a year?
I don't have it up now. It was 300 and 350.
Over 329.
Yeah.
How much for it?
About was it
329.
Yeah, 330.
329, 533.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we taking in?
Park receipts were about 125, I think, this year. I don't know if that includes their sale of their.
Yeah, I looked up the message.
About $200,000.
Yeah, I think he had just sent me maybe it was a rough estimate of 148,000 or something. But like I said, we're still working through year-end stuff. But yeah, you know, it's 100 and some thousand, I guess, difference, or almost.
Probably about half.
Didn't Derek mention raising the rates this coming year? as
He,
well?
he is looking into that currently. I think his plan is to come with a recommendation to the board, when he comes back. But he's looking around the region to kind of see where we should be. But yeah, I think rate-wise, we are low. I think it's, probably time to adjust that, but we'll see what he comes up with.
I remember Mr. Prince, we wanted to keep it open a couple more hours each evening, and he seemed like he didn't wanted to put his workers or himself or whatever.
They're already
in-
working.
Yes, it's a staffing issue. They just don't have, really, we don't have the staff to do what we're doing now. They're working long hours. The amount of comp time is astronomical up there. And I think it's something that we need to figure out. I'm kind of exploring some options, but we need to be open to maybe seeing how we can help them out up there, because they're getting run ragged.
How many employees they got?
I don't know offhand, Bart.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So,
Trying to keep that mowing, keep
There's
that-
there's 4.
The mowing- The mowing
four.
alone, they can't keep up with. Yeah, I mean, they're constantly mowing just to, keep up. So, still looking for anybody, I know it had been mentioned before, if anybody interested in coming and volunteering their time to just help them sit in the clubhouse and shake people in and out, that would be a huge help, but a lot of times it's taking everybody plus Derek just to keep up the mowing alone. So greatly understaffed up there.
Wasn't there something being floated at one time of maybe making the school chip in on the golf course as well?
We have been in talks with the school. We haven't really put a figure to it, but I think there's some willingness on their end to help us out. We just got to figure out, the golf teams utilize the golf course. Of course, the schools also utilize the tennis courts up at this park and then also in Duffield. So we are in talks with them. I think there's something that we could come up with, an agreement there.
I do have my usual stuff. Excuse me. VDOT, Alvin Sumter's back after having his knee surgery, and he's catching up on a lot of loose ends. Yuma School, they're going to be paving a turn lane there in front of the school. That's something that he and I and Mr. Ferguson worked on last year.
Doing it today, I think, Eddie.
Okay, I'd say they won't be finishing for tomorrow's opening. A lady there on Miss Blessing on Grover Cleveland, she's been on to us, I guess, you two for many years. But she fell and broke her hip last year. But it's good to say that they're going to be paving that before they leave the area. And that's created by, on Grover Cleveland, by utility work that I think sewer that did a lot of damage, but they're going to resurface that. Nicholsville, they're going to be doing some repairs on broken sidewalks, and additional sidewalks are being considered. Something you talked about. Lena Wisco is going to be involved with that. Improvements, I got some calls from Alley Valley this week, but improvements are planned there between Highway 72 and Reed Hollow Road to include ditching and paving. That's going back to the bridge patching and paving, Reed Hollow Road Bridge. Also, they're going to get an extra mile of paving in the Highway 627 and 619 section. On the Hill Station, the county's been involved with this. It's on the Clinch River for a boat launch site. That transfer has been completed. That should be finished this year on that project with Nature's Conservancy. It's being funded by Nature's Conservancy and additional to Scott County, TVA and others. It'll benefit the public, Natural Tunnel State Park and Clinch River State Park. The property owner, Teresa Glass, and her Glass family, I want to thank them for wanting to improve outdoor recreation and tourism in the area. Nick Proctor with Nature's Conservancy in the Abingdon office for coordinating acquisition, and he'll be involved in the construction phase. To Mr. Dingus and EDA for getting that set up, and Ms. Kegley for doing the deed preparation and closing documents, and also the VDOT engineers. I did speak with the Lee County EDA Tourism Director, Leslie Litton, and she's interested now in trying to develop some projects on the Powell River in Lee County. So people have been contacted for that. I think we've all had an opportunity or had invitations to meet with the Scott County school system. Has everyone, the board, met with them yet or plan to?
I think so.
Okay. Just some of the things, was there anything that y'all would like to discuss that came out of that meeting, the ones that have had the meetings with the school system?
Yeah, I think they're doing a fine job with what they've got. They're making the best use of what they have.
Some of the things that I met with, as you all probably have, Mr. Smith and Mr. Vermillion. Some of the things we discussed, reconciling annually after the March 31st state student count on average daily attendance, the forecast versus actual. So I think that's going to continue based on our conversation. Something they're looking at is year-end budget rollover of textbook funds, which they can do now. Also capital projects such as construction and repairs. And they are talking with Lee County now on how they go through that process. So it's possible they can roll over funds into the new budget year on capital projects. We talked a little bit about the Promise Program. That's extended educational opportunities for high school graduates for community college for free tuition. So they're going to look in on how they grow that. Also, we talked about the VDOT surveys and work order requests to address safety issues on their school bus routes. Talked about the turn lane there at Yuma. They were backing up into the road. That's kind of how that came about, creating a safety issue. But we talked a little bit about school consolidation as a result of aging school properties. They did mention the fact that there were community social centers as well as schools. We talked about Tennessee students enrollment. Their thinking is that the reason we're having the numbers we are with Tennessee students is the quality of education in Scott County. They thought they might get an increase in Tennessee students when they closed Sullivan North, but they said that was not a big number, so that hasn't grown the student count. When the Tennessee schools are built at Sullivan North and Lynn Garden, they don't feel like that these Tennessee students now will go back to those schools once they're completed. I think that's supposed to be done next year. We talked about maybe some additional opportunities for the vocational school, and interesting enough, we're going to be meeting again as a follow-up meeting to include Mr. Irvin over the vocational school. We did get a notice this week from EDA's Penny Horton about the Mountain Empire Community College open enrollment for plumbing level 1 training. It's a 15-week training course, October 5th through January 28th. And the classes will be at the, what I call a vocational school here in Scott County. So I think workforce development, that's going to be a big thing going forward. And we're looking for additional opportunities there at the vocational school. They did mention with the new agreement between Scott County and the school system that Mr. Shelton, our chief accountant, will be working at their office each Friday on a shared agreement. And I did ask him if some reason that Mr. Shelton transitioned out of that position into something else, what would their involvement be? And they said they would be involved with the interviewing process for his replacement as part of the shared agreement. They also wanted to mention the fact that they're having their ribbon cutting for the Yuma Elementary School tomorrow at Yuma for their new expansion. And that's all I have.
Any of the other supervisors got any comments, requests, recommendations? We'll move on to our business that we need to take into closed session. Can I get a motion and a second to go into closed session, please?
So moved.
Mr. Jeter makes the motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Castile seconds. So on a motion by Darrell Jeter and duly seconded by Danny Castile, this board hereby enters into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711. And that is Section A, one personnel, county administrator, and Section A1 personnel, county attorney. Everybody in favor, vote by way of saying aye. Opposed? All right. You can have a short little 15. Yeah. Take the rest.